This experience happened when I was 10 years old and my cousin and I went to a farm near my house. We often went there together. We brought some food with us. There we came across a stray dog and I walked up to the dog and tried to give it some food. Suddenly, it lunged at me. I was so scared. Everything behind me felt like slow motion. I can remember every moment. I remember the dog lunging at my face. I fell to the ground. It was on top of me and kept biting me. I felt like a rag doll. I never felt pain during the process. I didn't understand why this happened. Later I learned that it had rabies and its owner had abandoned it. It started biting my neck and biting off a piece of my skin. If I didn't take action, I was sure I would die. At this time, my cousin came running towards me. He tried to pull the dog away from me, but his strength was too small. Then he ran away. I felt so desperate that I couldn't understand why he left me. Later I found out that he went to my parents for help. The dog was still tearing at me. I heard a voice, "Kick it hard." I kicked the dog, which was the first supernatural thing that happened to me. It flew very high in the air. It seemed impossible to me that even a grown man could kick something that high. I stood up and it didn't feel like it hurt at all. I was ready to go home. When I was about to reach home, I saw my family running toward me. I saw my dad with a shotgun in his hand and I saw the panic on their faces. As they came toward me, I told them I was fine. My mom fainted. I couldn't understand why she was in such a state, because I felt fine. My memory of what happened next is not very complete. I will try to describe what happened in as much detail as possible. The first moment, yesterday my mom bought me a new dress as a gift. I was worried that my new dress would have blood on it. So in the first moment, I went to the mirror and I looked at my blouse. There was blood everywhere. I felt sad and wondered if my mom would be able to wash the stains off. I looked at my face again. I couldn't see my face in the mirror. And it felt like a fog where my face was. So I moved my head, to the left and to the right, but no matter how I moved, the fog followed. I asked my mom if she could see the fog and asked her why I couldn't see my face. Second moment, we lived in a small town about 30 minutes away from the nearest hospital. I was lying in the back seat with my head on my mom's lap. My mom was crying and screaming, "My baby, my baby." Then the nurse told my mom to keep me awake, otherwise, I might die. I thought, I have to try to stay awake because I don't want to die. I looked ahead. My uncle was driving and he looked back at me. Then I passed out anyway. The third moment, I was lying in a hospital bed. I felt very cold. I looked up and saw many doctors. They were wearing green clothes. Then came the fourth moment. I woke up again and I was out of my body. I was floating in the air and I looked down and I saw myself lying on the bed. I couldn't understand why I could see myself. Then I thought, I must be dead, and I was worried about my mom. Just as I was thinking that, suddenly, I appeared in the corridor of the hospital. I saw my mom. She kept crying and I told her I was fine, but she couldn't hear me. I felt so helpless. I tried to keep talking to her. Then the doctor came and he told her something. She started screaming and crying. I was thinking, where am I now? Where am I going now? Just then, I came to a tunnel. It started out black, and as I went up it became brighter and brighter. I knew I was going very fast. When I came to the top, everything was like a cloud, as if I was floating in a cloud. I saw 7 golden doors. Each one was as big as the Twin Towers. On the golden doors, there were gems and diamonds of various colors. Each of the gems was as big as a house. These doors were so big that it took me a long time to see the end of them. When I looked up at these doors, I didn't know which door to enter. As I was thinking about it, a light appeared in front of me on my left. I automatically drifted in that direction. It felt good. The closer I got to that light, the more obvious the feeling of being loved became. It felt like every cell in my body was filled with love. I felt like I was bursting at the seams. Then I heard someone speak to me, and I can't remember the whole conversation. I only remember this. He said to me, "It's time." I asked, "What do you mean?" He answered me, "It's time to go back." But I didn't want to go back, I wanted to stay. But he gave me the reason why I had to come back. I can't remember much of this conversation. I remember that at the end, the light also told me that my mother needed me. And I went back into my body. The next morning, I was lying in a hospital bed. I looked out the window. I saw green grass. But I had never seen such green in my life. My mother was beside me. I felt very happy. My mom was crying and my dad tried to calm her down. Then I asked them if they could also see the green grass outside the window. They must have thought I was hallucinating. Another strange thing happened, and I don't know if it had anything to do with this experience. During my coma, my aunt was also in the hospital the whole time. She was always very nice to me. Then I had a dream about her. The first thing I did was call her and I told her to go to the hospital to have her body checked. This feeling worried me so much that I called my mom in the middle of the night and talked about it, but my mom was half asleep and I guess she didn't take it seriously. I contacted my aunt again and she did have a slight cold, but other than that she felt fine. Then I told her to go to the doctor. My aunt is a strong woman. She runs a farm. She sensed my panic and I made her promise to go that day. She is a woman who keeps her promises, and she went anyway. The doctors did tests and they found that she had cancer. The cancer had spread. According to the doctors, she had 2 months to live. Since she didn't want to die in the hospital, she moved to her daughter's house. I went to be with her when I could, until the moment she died. She gave a gift to each of us. She gave me a candle, which was given to her by her son. Her son had died in a traffic accident, so this candle was very special to her. I would often light this candle. Sometimes I would forget to blow it out at night. But that candle didn't shrink much.